Hey, so this is Pramit. This is how.
Hello, guys. Please mute yourselves. Good evening. Welcome to the late night session, Saturday Night Gyan with Pramit Bhuyan. So, before diving into, I will start with some few words regarding our mentor, Mr. Pramit Bhuyan. Guys, please mute yourself. So, he's currently a software architect at Amazon and has worked with Microsoft for more than 10 years. He also has a patent under his name. So, today he will be discussing about how an individual can plan the best career for him or herself. And guys, a request to all of you, please be interactive throughout the session. Use the chat box. Don't hesitate to ask. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I think our mentor will be joining soon in a minute. So please have patience till then and please meet yourself and look yourself that you are comfortable with. Check your net connection as well. Everything. Good evening, sir.
Hey, everybody. Good evening. This is Pramit. We'll give ourselves a couple of more minutes before we begin. I hope all of you are doing well. Awesome. Hey, guys. How are you doing? Hey, Shankanil. I got your name wrong the other night, right? Excuse me again for that. So, those who are attending for the first time, welcome to our Saturday night session. We'll begin in a couple of minutes. Let's give some time for others to join in.
Microsoft.
Awesome.
So I think we should start like.
Sure. We'll start in a minute. Ayush, I think.
Okay, so.
Yeah. You can.
Like, sir, we can go with the introduction and all so that like people will join meanwhile.
Sure. I think you
So
can
you can
stop
share your
sharing.
screen.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, definitely.
Yeah. So today I'm not planning to share in my screen, unlike last time. I thought let's try a different format this time, where we are having more of a conversation rather than doing a presentation.
Great, sir.
Awesome. So, hello everybody, welcome. to our Saturday night Gyan session. This is Pramit. Been a software engineer with Microsoft for a long time, but for the last 1 year or so, I've been a software architect with Amazon, working in the fintech team. I'm a software engineer by profession, but a mentor by passion. So we're having these sessions with a mission, and that mission is to enable students, whatever students we can reach out to enable them to maximize their potential, right? Like I said, I'm a very passionate mentor. I've mentored quite a number of students by now. Typically my sessions are technical, but this time around I'm doing more of enabling others to reach wherever they want to reach, right? So we had a good discussion last Saturday. For those who are returning back, welcome again. For those who are attending for the first time, you're very welcome for your first session. So we have four types of sessions in mind. The first broad category is to enable students to plan out their career, which is very important because the know-how and knowledge among Indian students around career planning is not good at all, right? The second set of sessions that we will have. Hey, Ria, can I request you to mute your mic, please? Awesome, thank you. So the second set of sessions that we plan to have are around what are the essential skills that you need, irrespective of what career you choose. There are a set of skills, right? Like how do you present yourself? How do you articulate your thoughts? How do you lead a program or a team? How do you communicate with others, right? Very essential skills. Sometimes as a student, we don't prioritize. The third category of sessions that we want to have are to enable students know about the industry itself. Like if you remember, we had a brief discussion last Saturday where pretty much none of us knew about what a CRM what a CRM business is, what a DevOps tools business are, what are insurance related businesses, what are distributed technologies coming up, right? So many students are not aware of the ecosystem around them. They are just willing to get into a business wherever they get a chance and do whatever the employer asks them to. That should not be the mode that we should be in, right? So the target that we are setting for ourselves is to know about the industry before we even have a plan for our career, right? So it's important. So we want to inform students about different types of businesses, different types of solutions that are prevalent today, possibly a roadmap for the future. How's it going to look tomorrow, right? It's important. And if required, we'll also invite a few other mentors, my friends, colleagues, so that they can also share their knowledge around their business, their industry. Right? So the fourth category of sessions that we will have is deep technical topics, because I am myself a technical person from a technical background. So I love to teach students about computer networks, about cloud, about distributed systems, about performance, about different types of solutions that are available, right? So we will definitely have technical sessions as well. And we don't want to make it very formal. Feel free to ask questions on chat box. Feel free to suggest a session that you want me to host. I will try my best to host that, right? So Jay is asking a question here. Having different passion and profession is good or not? I didn't completely understand your question, Jay, but hold your thoughts for now. We will come to the question. I think your question is very pertinent to our discussion today. So we will definitely discuss your question, but hold your question for a while. Maybe you can echo it back, maybe in 5 minutes or so. Okay. So before we commence with today's session, let's quickly recap what we discussed last session, right? What we discussed last session was there are lots of problems which is there in today's students' habits in the way that they plan their careers. For example, we as a student don't decide what we study. Based on what our grades are, we are allocated some stream: science, arts, commerce, right? Based on our interest, we are allocated some. So we don't decide what we study, which is not how it should be. We learn in a completely reactive way. What does that mean? That we are taught in a way that we'll be given a book. We are very, very good at remembering stuff outside of that, from that book. You ask any question, we will answer. But this is completely reactive way of studying. Like, you give me a book, I'll study it, and I'll respond to any question that you ask from inside of that book. But Einstein's, Newton's, Picasso's are not produced from books. You become really great only by thinking outside of your books, thinking outside of the box, that is, isn't it? So we need to get into a mode where we don't study reactively, right? And it's a very, very difficult problem to solve, because our whole academic system is modeled in a way that we are taught reactively, right? We need to get out of that mode. If not during our school time, at least now, in whichever way possible, right? So the third problem that we discussed last time was we don't decide what do we do in our career. So what happens if you know what our placement process is? Like most of you probably know, once you go into a placement, there are a bunch of companies who've come to select. They will select some student, and wherever they select us as a student, we go and join them. That again is a very reactive mode of planning for our life. Right? We should go into a place where we want to go, not where somebody else wants us to, right? So we don't do that. Some streams do. For example, architects, they do. For example, hardware, if you know about electronics, right? Circuit designers, they do. But especially around computer science, IT, that's not true. As in, there are so many different fields, but we don't proactively choose what we want to do. Right? That was another problem that we as a student community are facing. The fourth problem that we discussed was we don't define success for ourselves. Success for ourselves is what is success for our neighbor. If he's got a 15 lakhs job, then I must get it, or I must try to get it. That's not how we should define our success. That's not how we should pursue our life, right? We should concretely define success for ourselves. We should be content with that success. And what that will enable us is to be very secure about ourselves, right? We don't need to compare ourselves with anybody else. We should have our own success metric. We should pursue that. On achieving that, we should recognize that we have achieved that. And then we should delve full on into innovation, right? So a major problem why our student community is not taking risks today is because we don't define success for ourselves. We define success as a pay package, right? Or as whatever success our neighbor has decided for himself or herself. That's not how we should define success for ourselves, right? So the fifth problem that we discussed last Saturday was we Indian students are financially illiterate. We don't know how much money is more, how much money is less. We don't know how much money we need in the next, let's say, 5 years. How much money should we save for the next 10 years? How much money should we spend on luxuries? So we are financially illiterate. And the reason probably is partly due to the bringing up, typically in our middle class families, that we are not given financial responsibilities, right? So in order to be financially educated, we need to have some sort of financial experience, which we don't have. So that's again a major problem with Indian students, because you don't know what you need. And if you don't know what you need, how will you take risks? right? So once you recognize that I already have what I need, right? Let's say you need 12 lakhs, just a ballpark figure. If you need 12 lakhs, if you got 12 lakhs after 3 years of your job, let's say, you should be secure. You should be very confident to take risks. But we don't do that because we think we need 50 lakhs, right? And that's a problem because we are not taking risks at all. We're not founding Googles of the world. We're not founding SpaceX's of the world, right? That's primarily because we don't have a metric of success. We don't have financial education, right? And we ended last Saturday's session with advice, which was the last point, was to have a very grand vision of yourself. Today, in our colleges, schools, families, we are not taught to have a very grand vision, right? We have small visions. We have visions like I'll work for X or Y company. I'll make X or Y amount of money, right? So these are really small, worthless ambitions to have. Don't have small ambitions. Have a very grand ambition. That's where we ended last week's session. We'll continue from where we left, right? So today, so in the last session, obviously, we discussed a lot of problems, right? So we will not discuss in detail to try and solve all those problems because quite a few problems, obviously. But we want to discuss something in detail, which according to me is a great mantra that I myself have discovered over the last 2 to 3 years, right? And I'll be trying to justify this mantra to you, but feel free to give your opinions, to disagree, to even question. Okay. So the mantra is this, very simple. And I want you to follow this mantra throughout your life, not just today, not just during the duration of this webinar, not for the next year. I want to try it out for yourself for the rest of your life. And let me know if you don't agree with the mantra during any point of time, right? So mantra is simple. Why, then what, and then how. It's very simple, right? But it's very, very difficult to apply. We will discuss today. Why is it very difficult and how can we apply it, if at all, right? The rule is very simple. Why, then what, and then how, right? So let's see what that means. It says that before making any important, significant decision of your life, first ask yourself, why are you taking that decision? And you know what? You'll be surprised to know that most of us, including myself, most of us, when we are planning our careers, we don't ask why at all. And we will walk through that example. I promise you will be able to relate to all the examples I'll share, because that's the story of my life that I'm going to share, right? When I was a student myself, long time back. So first you have to ask why. Once you answer and give yourself time, right? A few years, 1-2 years is okay to answer why. Once you have some sort of answer to the why, then try to find a few answers to what, right? What are the options that you want to pursue towards your why, right? You need to keep pursuing multiple whats. You have to, right? Just like stock market, you have to invest in multiple investments. So you have to pursue multiple what, that is multiple approaches towards your why. And you have to constantly evaluate and prioritize. You might have to change your direction also, right? We will discuss in detail with examples. Pallavi, may I ask you to please mute yourself? Awesome. Krishna is asking me a question. Hey, Krishna, hold on to your thoughts. I'll come to. We'll have a good question discussion session also, right? We'll have a good discussion. I want to hear from all of you what you think about this. Okay, but just let me just reach a logical milestone in our discussion, right? So once we have some approaches finalized, then and only then we should discuss about how we should achieve that what, right? And then go deep into it, because how is very deep. How is very, very deep. Always. Whatever you decide for your why, whatever you decide for your what's, how is where the devil is, right? How is very deep and very difficult. How will tire you out, right? How is the coding? If you are planning to be a software engineer, how is the coding? We will get to that exact example as well. So what we are doing is exact opposite. We are first learning coding. We'll go there, right? So let's see in our life, how much are we following this rule, or whether are we following this rule, right? Okay. Okay. Sure. Krishna is pinging me and saying that his network is bad. Okay. And the video is getting stuck. Okay. So is my video getting stuck for others also? Can anybody respond to me in chat?
So I think it's completely fine.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. No problem, Krishna, no problem at all. Ayush is recording this. You will get the recordings of this session. So no problem at all if you're facing any issue. Okay. So going back to our original discussion, what happens when remember when you were kids, all of us, right? When you were kids, whatever you liked, maybe you like to sing, maybe you like to dance, maybe you like to play cricket, football, whatever, running, athletics, studying, poetry, whatever you liked, right? Art. Remember, it was called a hobby. And we pursued it to some extent, but it was like maybe in a full week, we probably pursued it 2, 3, 5 hours. That's it, right? But for the first 15 years of all of our lives, 15 years is a very, very, very long time, right? Lots of time. You can do lots of things, right? So we spend 15 years of our life, kindergarten, and then 12 years, let's say, in school, studying the exact same things. How ridiculous is that? So some of us like to play, some of us like to sing, some of us like to solve maths problems, some of us like to study scientific phenomena, right? But irrespective of what we like, we all study for 15 long years the exact same thing. And we are supposed to be good at exactly the same things, right? Something that you should also think about, right? And I say this a lot. You may not initially agree with me, but bear with me. I strongly believe that our school curriculum is made for an average student. Our school curriculum is made for average student, right? So some of you might say, including myself, there were subjects that we found very difficult. We couldn't study at all, right? So why do you say that our curriculum is made for average student? Because there were definitely some subjects that we found difficult, right? But definitely there were some subjects that we found very, very interesting, right? Like I just said, it could be maths, it could be drawing, music, sports, right? Now imagine if you were taught that subject that you liked many times more, maybe 5 times more than what you were taught. And the subjects that you disliked, you would be taught, but you would be taught 5 times lesser. If such a curriculum is designed, how awesome would that be? Do people agree with me? And that relates directly to why, and then what, and then how. I'll tell you how. But feel free to agree or disagree in the chat box. Right? Do people agree with me that if the curriculum were designed in a way that I pick the first three subjects, let's say, that I'm intensely interested in. Maybe I was, for example, interested in sports, a lot of sports, maybe maths, and maybe Hindi. So I would be getting to spend, I will be taught, trained many times more than the other subjects, right? And somebody else who's interested in dramatics or dance or theatrics, theater, that is, right? They would be taught that, and they would become superstars in their fields, isn't it? So that would be awesome, isn't it? Now, why? Now you think, why is our curriculum designed in a way that all of us study the same thing? Why is that? That because not just us, our academicians also believe in first doing the how. We first focus on how. We don't focus on why. Because if we focused on why, then we would first do the things that we loved. Because we're first focusing on how, right? That's why we're focusing on the subjects first. Without knowing what this person is going to do after 15 years, we are using those 15 years on making them study the same subjects, right? And that's the exact reverse approach of how it should be, right? Now imagine if we modify the curriculum based on what we just said. And like I said, right, our curriculum is designed for an average student. You just thought some subjects were difficult because you didn't have much interest in those, right? Now, let's say you are interested in maths. Then in those 15 years, you would know 5 times more of what you know about maths right now. You would know advanced calculus, partial differential equations, real analysis, all those very advanced combinatorics, right? All those advanced subjects within class 10 or 12. Now imagine how awesome would that be? Then the mathematicians we would produce, will they not be the best in the world? Will we not produce more Newtons and Einsteins in the world? Similarly, imagine if you are really interested in art, which many students were in your class, right? If you recollect. Now they would study arts 5 times more. They would do charcoal sketches, oil on canvases. They would learn animations. They would learn game designing. Maybe they will be taught AutoCAD. They will be taught OpenGL, WebGL, right? In all those 15 years, which probably they either read in college, or for the most part, they never read. Because let's be frank, most artists in India actually end up becoming some sort of software engineer mostly, isn't it? Or maybe doctors. But artists are never encouraged to pursue their passions. It's a sorry state of affairs, unfortunately. But imagine if we identify the talent, right? Then we can nurture it. We can make their art curriculum much more advanced. Today it's very average. Like, what do you even learn about art? If any of you were interested in art, remember, what were you taught about art? Can you become a world-class Picasso, let's say, or Monet? Can you become one of these great artists by studying what we study in our schools? Never, right? Now imagine you were a sports lover and you were really talented. You don't know because you were never trained, you were never examined from that perspective. Maybe you were really great shoot, right? Maybe you could have become a really great wrestler, who knows? But if you liked sports very much and we invested 5 times the amount of sports initially to train you, right? Then you could have known what your good dietary practices are. what are good strengthening exercises, what are good training regimes, right? If one man called Pulela Gopichand, if you've heard of him, right? So I live in Hyderabad. Pulela Gopichand Badminton Academy is very close to my home. And many of you are from IIT Hyderabad, I know, so you can relate, right? If one man called Pulela Gopichand can produce multiple world champions in badminton, if one man called Biranchi Das, if you remember Budhya Singh, the small kid who ran marathons, right? If one coach can produce a prodigy like that, imagine what would happen if all of us were evaluated at that depth, right? So I'm sure many of us have sporting talents that we never pursued because we never ourselves probably took it really seriously, right? That's because we were focusing on the how. We were never focusing on why and what, right? Now imagine what the result will be, right? We will produce many more Nobel laureates, many more Olympic winners, many Mozarts, and many Picassos. Does everybody agree with me? At this point of time, I open the floor for your comments, for your thoughts, questions. Let me know if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, any anecdotes that you want to share. We'll take a pause here. So how many people agree with me till now? Let me know in the chat box. Guys, make it interactive. And if you have any questions, I'll take them now. Okay. Vikash is saying, okay, Prashant is agreeing. Divyanshu is agreeing. Lakshmipati is agreeing. Good to know that many of you agree. But see, Saurav has an interesting point here. He's saying true. But it will never happen until whole Indian education system changes. True. Very correct. We have all been through the Indian education system, and we need to accept, or first we need to realize what are the problems with the system, right? And then only we can go ahead to correct it. But even before we correct it, even before we correct the whole system, can't we adopt a few things just in our lives, just so that from today onwards, let's say I live for 30 more years, right? If I live for 30 more years, can I adopt a few habits, new habits, so as to correct the discussed problems in our system? Isn't it, Saurabh? So at least once we recognize the problems, we can work towards correcting the system, definitely. At least this is my endeavor to reach out to all of you and try to see what we can improve, right? But also individually. Once you know the problem is, you can come up with some sort of solution for yourself individually, right? Thank you, Saurabh, for that comment. So Vikash is saying he had said something to me privately. I'll read it aloud, Vikash, if you don't mind, for everybody else. Vikash is saying, I have a lot of experience with basic coding, but when it comes to my passion for developing a website, let's say, or a web app, I usually tend to lose my focus at various points. When this happens, the first thing that pops up is I'll be left behind. But then again, I get confused with the resources to use. I'm very confused and I don't want to study for a job. Please help. I think story of our lives, Vikas. I'll tell you, my story was exactly the same when I was a student like you, right? 12 odd years back. See, I think this is very pertinent. So Vikash, see what you are saying yourself. We will discuss this exactly after this, right? So what you're saying is three parts. One is me learning coding. That's one. The second is me doing something, and that something is web app in your case, right? Me doing something. So that's the what part. Me learning coding is the how part. Me doing something, web app, is the what part. And I don't want to do a job. That's the why part. Do you see the order in which you mentioned them? I tried to do coding. That's the how. If you mention that first. Then you say, I want to create a web app. That's your what. You mention it next. Then you say, because I don't want to do a job. That's your why. And that you mention it last. Reverse it. So let me bring up the last point that I discussed in my last session, right? So the last point is dream something extremely big for yourself. Extremely big. Don't dream small. Like Jeff Bezos from Amazon, right? He says, thinking small is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Don't think small. I don't know what your big is, right? But think very, very big. Think, can you make your whole town developed? Can you provide a energy solution, maybe solar energy solution for your whole city? Can you solve the water problem for whole of India? Right? Can you think problems like that? Can you create a solution, maybe an entertainment solution for whole of India? Can you create a meeting solution like Zoom or GeoMeet they've done, right? So think big, think extremely big, right? So coming to your question, right? So coming to your question, see, first you need to agree on your why. Your why is feeble. We will go to why, right? We will go to why, but a small comment on your why, that I don't want to job. It's a good why, but it's a feeble why. It's a small why. Don't. So first answer yourself, why do I want to do? Maybe let's take an example of myself, right? So when I was a student, I was a hardworking student. I was a diligent student. I used to used to get good grades and all. But that's all I used to do. I used to learn. I used to study my courses. I used to learn coding diligently and all of that, problem solving. Right? This is completely how. I never thought about my why. What? What was to get a good paying job. That was my what. I'm sure the what is same for many of you, right? And why, I never even got to why, right? I never even got to why. Why do I want to get that high paying job? It's not a good answer just to go and get that high paying job. You need to get your why. And I'm not saying it's an easy question, by the way. But once you get the answer of that why, I promise you one thing. You will never be stressed in your life. Even if you fail, you'll never be stressed in your life. Because once you answer that why convincingly, let it take a year, 2 years, not a problem. In the meanwhile, I'm not asking you to waste time. Go do practicing, right? Prepare yourself. Maybe work on your how a little bit beforehand. I'm not saying you to sit idle in the meantime, but work on your why. From today onwards, work on your why. Why I want to do what I want to do. Once you have a good answer. So let's say, I think it was Vikash who asked that, right? Yeah. So Vikash, I'm urging you to get a good why for yourself. You said, so you have some vision that I don't want to get into a regular job. That's good. But what is your big why? What are you passionate about, right? And that big why will depend on what you are passionate about. It will very much depend on what you're passionate about. Maybe you are passionate about, like me, I'm passionate about teaching. It's what I have discovered about myself. I'm passionate about teaching, right? I'm passionate about sharing my knowledge. Anything that I know, I'm passionate about teaching. And that's my why. And it's not the only why I have. For example, just to take my own example, I'm passionate about design, about aesthetics, right? And a few other things. Technology also I'm passionate about, right? So first answer your why, super important. Then go to what. Let's say you answer your why, whatever that is, right? Then go to what. Maybe then your what, maybe your web app. It may be something else. Maybe it's a school in your village. Maybe it's a community spanning India or abroad, right? It could be anything. I don't know what your what is. But first answer your why, right? Because then you will never lose in your life. You may lose money, you may lose time, you may lose effort, but you will never lose in your life because you know you are very focused towards your why. You will never compare yourself to anybody. You will always be successful because you are pursuing your why, right? Just because we are doing the same thing on the how part, that's where we are being jealous. That's where we're comparing ourselves. That's where we're comparing our skills, our salaries, our capabilities, our positions. But once you focus on your why, you will never compare yourself to others because whys are different for all of us, right? So first answer your why, then go to what, right? Okay. I have another. So I hope that to some extent answers your question, Vikash, that reverse the order. Answer your why very significantly, then answer your whats, and then once you are convinced about whats, but whats may change over the time, by the way, right? Why should more or less remain fixed. Whats might change slightly as you become agile, as you go through and discover things for yourself. You might figure out that okay, this is not working. I need to change tracks, right? So whats might change, but how is the most difficult part. You will face failures in the how part, but you need to be persistent in the how. Go deep in how, right? Okay, so I'm getting another question here from, or a comment from Shankanil. I personally agree to the approach of why, what, how, but how to decide what amount of knowledge is necessary for everyone to excel in what they want. You do, very good question, very, very relatable question, right? And also, what if a point someone comes in and makes something they're not interested in, then makes it interesting and becomes their favorite, right? How do we decide the difference between exploring that leads to choices we make and useless approaches that waste of? Very, very good. As an investor, right? If you invest in 10 investments, 8 out of it may actually not work, but 2 that will work, I promise you, will work so much for you that you will win bumper prize. That's how it is going to be, because your why, you are fixed on why. Let's say your why is I want to be a great artist, right? Because I'm intensely passionate about art and design. I want to be a great artist, but I don't know what. I could become an architect to design those beautiful designs in buildings in Dubai, right? Great architects must have designed them. So I could become an architect. I could design cars. I could design interiors. I could design vehicles, right? Maybe flying vehicles where aerodynamics comes into picture. I could design space rockets where there are lots of other dynamics that needs to be taken into account. So design is everywhere. But what is your what? I don't know. You have to come up with some good answers. And to that, right, remember what we discussed a little bit last time. It's very important that you take advice of others, right? It's very important that you discuss vocally your why and what with your friends, colleagues, family, right? Be very vocal about it, and only then, after a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, you will get a few very, very strong whats which you want to pursue. You will be convinced, right? Because it's not a feeble answer that you're trying to get to. You are trying to answer that question of what with all the commitment that you have, and I promise you, you will get a very solid answer. You'll get, in fact, if you pursue it with your heart, right, you'll get so many answers that you will be a little bit confused what you want to pursue, right? But as you start doing it, as you start pursuing this, you will discover some things for yourself, right? So some you will pursue because you will get good response, and some you will not pursue, some you will leave along the way, and that's okay. And that is happening as part of the how, because how is deep, like I told, right? How is difficult, how is deep, and you will change. Okay, so Vikash is asking a related question to coding. He's asking, as I get into various coding forums, I feel that I'm completely oblivious to the topic, right? Very interesting questions. In fact, my next to next session, I'm planning to do about this, right? How should you think about coding? because I think this is a topic which is very close to my heart also. We go about learning coding in a very, very wrong way. What we do, we learn coding to learn coding, which is a very bad approach. You should not learn. Do we learn Hindi to learn Hindi or learn English to learn English? If I learn very, very good English, like really good English, but I don't do this webinar for you, then what good am I? I am using my English to communicate my thoughts to you. And that's where the utility of English comes in, right? And that is exactly how coding is. And view coding like that, right? So learn coding, be good at coding. For example, if I don't speak well, if my English is grammatically wrong, will you be intent on hearing me, right? You may not be if I'm not able to communicate my thoughts properly. So it's important to be decently good at coding. But once you are learning coding, before you're learning French, think what you do with French. Are you going to settle in French? That's why you're learning French. Because if you're not going to settle in French, then you learning French is a waste of your time. Similarly, think of what you're going to do with that coding. Are you going to be a backend developer? Then with your heart and soul, learn Java or C# or something which is very amenable for backend coding. If you are going to be if you think you are creative, if you think you love UX designing, then put your heart and soul into JavaScript, React, learn frameworks, Reacts or Knockout or whatever you have, right? If you are intent on doing data science, then go and learn that Python with all your heart. Don't bother with what your friend is learning. It's okay. Maybe he has different interests. Let him learn Java or JavaScript or whatever, right? But if you if you know what you want to learn, right? So first answer your why. If I want to be a legendary software engineer, that's a good why. If you're convinced that you love it, right? Then your what could be, I'll learn 2 to 3 different languages. I'll be really expert at them. Then I'll accomplish the 1, 2, 3 projects in my next 3 years. This is a good what. If you really want to be a software engineer, right? Then how? Then decide your timeline. How am I going to learn the languages? What are the constructs of the languages that I want to master, right? And then get to how part and go deep. You will fail, rise up again, pursue it nonetheless until you achieve your why, which is to become a legendary software engineer. Okay, so I hope that answers your question, Vikash. But if you have any follow-up question, let me know in the chat box. And I also hope that I answered to some extent Shankanu around how do you decide what amount of knowledge is necessary, right? So you take bets. You decide whatever how is visible to you, you take the step. No need over planning. Just take the step. Once you take a few steps, right? Either you will fall down or you will learn how to run. Either is okay. Don't worry too much. Either is okay. Okay. So if you fall down, you will take a few steps back, pick up a new direction. But you know that your destination, right? So you'll pick up a new direction, you'll try to reach your destination nonetheless. Okay, so sometimes you'll fail, and that's given actually. We should in fact try to be mentally prepared for failing a few times. It's a good sign, not a bad sign at all. Okay. Okay, Vikash is asking another question. So guys, I have a few other things to discuss, but it's okay. So it's not like we are trying to finish up a syllabus here. So if you have any questions that you want me to answer, feel free to go ahead and ping on the chat box. Okay. So Vikash, I'll take your question, but give me a couple of minutes or maybe 5 odd minutes to discuss another example, right? So another example that I want you to think about is how life works, right? So life is not always fair because let's say you decide I'm going to follow the rule of why and then what and then how, right? Let's say you follow these rules. Will everybody else also follow these rules? No, clearly no, right? Like when you, let's say, pass out of your school, high school, then what is the process? Let's say you are really good at maths. You focused on your why. You want to be a legendary mathematician, and you have worked really hard. You spend just like Vishwanathan and Anand spends 6 hours a day, right, on chess. You spend 6 hours a day on maths. You have become really good. You have cracked. You have represented, let's say, India uh, in the International Maths Olympiad. But despite that, and because you focused so much on maths, just like maybe Srinivas Ramanujan, you are weak at other subjects like chemistry. Let's say you're weak at chemistry, right? So if you remember Srinivas Ramanujan's story, he became really intensely interested in maths, so much so that he actually stopped studying other subjects like English and Sanskrit, right? So he failed in his Fellow of Arts degree 2 times in a row. Now, if same is repeating even today, if you are, let's say, bad at chemistry, you won't get through IIT JEE. IITs will not accept you in their maths department, even if you are an international maths Olympiad qualifier, right? But that's a sorry state. So accept that fact that you are following your principles, but the rest of the world is not. But that is no reason for you to get demotivated. Because if you are really that good at maths, you will figure out your what and your how eventually. It's okay if one IIT doesn't accept you, that's okay. You need to stand strong on your what. You will figure out a what. Maybe it's producing the next 100 gold medalists from India. That could become your what, right? And then your how, whatever your approach is. Maybe you'll open an online mathematics forum. Maybe you will, whatever your how is, right? So uh, don't be demotivated if the whole world doesn't align with your philosophy, and not just why, what, how philosophy, whatever your other philosophies might be, right? Super important. Okay, at this point of time, any question, guys? We have 10 more minutes in this discussion, so I think I'll open up more to questions. Let me take a question that I'm seeing here in various coding forums. Okay, I'm completely, but there are minimal courses that provide with projects. Okay, okay. So there are some courses that provide with projects. And now if we try searching for the same, it's rarely or even not available. It's okay. It's okay. So basically, in this specific example, right, let's say his target was to uh, do some projects by himself related to a specific thing, let's say related to AI, right? And then how is I learn Python, I learn this AI framework, I'll do this Kaggle project and whatever. Then I'll finish this end-to-end project once or 2 or 3 projects. It's okay if somebody else doesn't give you a project. Your what should be completely be driven by you. You go ahead and do a project by yourself, right? Small projects. Like if you remember Homi Jahangir Bhabha, right? Small project, really small project. Or for that matter, CV Raman. I was giving example of CV Raman last session also, right? Small projects can give you a Nobel Prize. Small projects can create ISROs of India, right? So start with a small project as long as you're passionate about it, as long as you're following through, right? I think somebody, I don't remember who, was giving an example where we are picking up a project and we are forgetting that project, forgetting about it and moving on to something else. Now that is a mistake. You know why we are moving? Because it doesn't align with your why, because you are not motivated towards that, because you are not that passionate about it, right? But if that is aligning to your why, you will never leave that project. You will come back to that project 100%, right? So once you are on that project, you will follow through. It will become big as long as you don't give up, as long as you are persistent, right? So follow through, find out your why, plan it accordingly, you will follow through. Okay. Kartikeya, I am seeing a question from you. Thank you for asking. I hope it's okay for me to read it for everybody. I think I'm just starting to read the example that Kartikeya is leaving for me, but amazing. I always wanted to join army, right? but my parents are insisting something, right? Engineering, so it's a common story in India, right? Now I'm scared that I'll end up being an average engineer. Okay, have least interest in coding. Okay, should I try different things? Okay, now Kartikeya, go back to your why. Joining the army is again what, right? Go back to your why. Why is it that you wanted to join army? Maybe you wanted to do something great for your nation. Maybe you are intensely fond of going into defense specifically. If you are, right, then once you identify your why, whatever that is, right, you can find many ways to achieve that, right? You can find many ways to come up with some whats. If you're not interested in coding, definitely don't do coding. I'm not recommending you to quit coding right now. Don't do that. Plan it properly. Take a few years, take 2 years, 3 years, take a few years, and come up with what's. Then experiment, try, take a few steps towards that. See if it's working. Don't leave your current state, by the way, right? That's the clever thing, according to me. But then it's totally on you. Some people are so passionate, they leave whatever they're doing and they simply jump out, like Bill Gates. They dropped out. I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have recommended that also. But then they are they, right? They're not me. So the approach is yours. But but think about it. Once you agree on your why you wanted to join army, you will find your what. If you, for example, are intensely interested in martial arts, let's say, I don't know your why. I know of this guy. I was watching this lot of these patriotic videos recently. I remember this guy called Shifu. I don't know whether you know him or not. So that guy is not in the army, right? He's actually not in the army at all, but he is a martial arts genius and he trains a lot of people towards that. I'm sure many of them actually do go ahead and join the army in the end. And he's a legend in his own rights, right? And it shows if that is so passionate about martial arts. So if you, once you identify your why, right, it's not like there is one what for you. The what of joining army is past, so keep it in the past. It's okay. And maybe figure out if you can still join the army, that's okay. But see if you can have other whats which aligns with your why, and then go on, drill down on your how. Okay. I hope that answers your question, Kartikeya. But if not, feel free to let me know in the chat box. Okay. Shonkonil is asking how to create a demand for our why. Okay. Okay. I think very good question. Very good question. And I'll tell you why this is a relatable question to all of us. Because why is actually should be easy. Even if you may take a few years, why is actually easy for most of us, because we know ourselves, right? I know that I am a giving person. I know that I am a sharing person, so I love teaching, right? I know that I don't have a liking for a lot of money, or I don't have a liking for a lot of glittery things. So that's me. I know myself. And like Kartikeya was saying, definitely he knows a lot about himself, right? That's why he had that passion to join the army. So why is easy. But once you have your why, to decide the what is difficult, relatively difficult. And that's where Shankani is also coming in. What he's asking is, how do I decide my what? What if that what is wrong? What if that what, right, which I thought will work out, actually doesn't work out? What I am, instead of becoming filthy rich, I'm becoming filthy poor, right? Totally possible, Shankanil, but that doesn't mean that you will still not give it a try. Totally possible, right? Be a little bit of financially knowledgeable, plan things out, know exactly what's the minimal amount you need, have a healthy, we'll have a dedicated session for that also. Financial, you need to be financially enabled. All our students, Indian students, are very, very bad at finance, right? Basic finance, basic life finance. So you need to plan your finances. Then be prepared for taking that risk. It's okay if you fail. It's okay if you get a little hurt. Stand up again and figure out the right what. It's not a problem. Okay. If one thing you thought will create demand, it doesn't work out, you'll create something else. I'm sure you will. As long as you are persistent, you will. I don't have a doubt. Indian students are very hardworking, right? Okay, Apurva is asking, certified courses are given more value than self-study. Very, very, very valid question, Apurva. That's because, see, we are as a society, as a student community, we are focusing on the how part. And that's a problem. That's why we give more importance to degrees. If Bill Gates would have given importance to his Harvard degree, would he have ever dropped out to create Microsoft? He wouldn't have, right? So you need to be, first of all, you need to discover your why, Apurva, right? And be very, very passionate about it. Be very vocal about it. Go and tell all your family, friends that I'm very passionate about this. I'm going to do this thing which will impact thousands of lives in so and so way, right? And then I promise you will not be bothered about certified courses, degrees, or whatever. Once you decide your goal, you will pursue that no matter what. You will fail, but that's okay. As long as you are calling out to everybody that that's my goal, right? That really big thing is my goal. I'm not afraid of small failures. I'm not going to compare myself with anybody else, right? Whatever degrees, certificates, etc. that they have. I hope that makes sense. But if you're not able to relate to that, let me know, Apurva. Okay, I'm seeing another question, in fact. Is it better to study and understand by ourselves than to do a certified course? I think any day. Any day. But at the same time, in fact, our next class, next discussion is around this exactly. How do you learn in an effective way, in a fast and effective way? Because we in India, not just actually in India, worldwide, we are learning in a very inefficient way. We're not learning in a proper way, right? We think that we are going to finish a book. In your, I hope all of you or most of you are from engineering background. Every engineering course, it has a really thick book, isn't it? This thick book, every. But neither have I nor have you ever finished that whole book. A general course in our engineering is typically around 40 hours. In 40 hours, we should have realized from the very beginning that we can't finish that whole book. It's impractical, it's impossible. But we still target to finish that whole book in the beginning, only to probably realize towards the end of the semester that we can probably finish 100 to 120 pages max, right? So definitely, we need to be, we need to improve ourselves in how we learn, right? But for example, if you already knew that you have to finish those 100 pages, you have to be very effective about it, discuss it in forums, solve problems, practice. I promise you, you would have become much more efficient, much better than how you are by targeting the whole full book, right? Okay, so I hope that answers your question, Apurva, but let me know if it doesn't. Meena is asking, I'm interested in coding, but one tends to lose the motivation. How can one overcome that? Very good question, very relatable. Same happened with me. I'm sure same happens with many of you. Uh, the problem is you need to first answer your what, why. Then come up with a few whats. If your what is that I'm going to create a chat bot. Let's say your why is I want to have I want to do something very impactful for student community, right? It is one of my actual whys also, right? And this is one of my whats that I'm doing here. So let's say I want to, and let's say one of the whats could be that I want to enable their communication by creating something digital. Maybe I want to creating an IM solution which is targeted towards Indian students, right? A very good what. Now, if you are committed to that what, Meena, you will not lose ever you're interested in coding, and neither you will learn and do a lot of random coding. You will learn one solid language, you will apply that language to create that solution, and that's it. There is no question of you getting losing your motivation, right? Because you don't know your why and what, but you are learning your intent on the how, and that how is just to learn coding. Then you will definitely lose your motivation, and there is no reason for you to have motivation. You are right in that you are losing your motivation. I hope that makes sense, guys. If I'm not making sense also, let me know. If you disagree, feel free to disagree with me on the comment, right? Anubhav is saying, what is more important, hard work or smart work? Very question, a little orthogonal to today's discussion, but very good question. Anubhav, my answer to that is work is very important, but so is hard work. So your work should be smart, hard work, but it's slightly orthogonal. But what I'll tell you is, once you know what you are doing, right, which aligns you with your why, once you know, like in this example, let's follow through with this example, that I want to create an IM, like instant messaging service for student community. Okay, let's say that's my what, I want to pursue that. Now, is it important whether I work hard or whether I work smart? Even though it's not important, what is important is that I have to work hard. Because if my goal is to create that in 1 year, if I don't work hard, like really hard, will I be able to create it? But at the same time, I also have to be smart. If I have 1 lakh investment that somebody is doing with me, maybe I can use that 1 lakh to hire another person. So that way I am reducing my work by half by using that other person's effort. So you have to be both hardworking as well as smart working. I hope that answers your question, Anubhav, but let me know if it doesn't. Apurva is saying thank you. Thank you. I think you're most welcome. Okay, Ramesh is asking a question. I'm inspired by Mark. Okay, Bill Gates likes. Okay, and started coding and eventually got to know that I have a passion in it. Awesome. Awesome. So you are still focusing on the how part, but at least you know that you're passionate about. You know what are good whys? One good why is have a big dream. If the why is small, throw that why, right? Have a very, very big dream and make the why about society, about others, right? At least that's my definition of a good why. Don't make the why about you. Because if you make the why about others, right, like my why is about you guys. I really want to enable you guys to have the best career possible, whatever that is, right? To all of you to be really, really influential, really, really do something really big. Now, if my why is about you, so you know what, you will help me achieve my why, because my why is about you, right? Similarly, your why should always be about others. Try to make it about others, because once you make it about others, they will help you out. Like example, Narendra Modi, right? You may or may not support him, that's fine, but he's not really an educated person, not as much educated as all of us here, right? Much lesser educated. But see, through sheer hard work, because he knows his why, he knows that he wants to lead people to something good. Whether his vision is you agree or me, I agree, it doesn't matter. But he has a very strong why. So he doesn't bother about the money that he's making. He is probably making much lesser than what I am making, right? But he doesn't bother about that because he's so clear about his why, right? That I am inspired by the likes of him, right? So figure out your why, be persistent, right? But what, coming back to Ramesh's question, so how do I go about finding the next big thing to be founded? No, see, this is a why, but this is a feeble why. So your why is, I want to found a big thing, right? I want to found something big. Don't, something is not a strong why. What is that? What is that motivates you, right? And don't copy. Feel free to be inspired from others, but don't copy others. What do I mean by that? Is, for example, right? See, developed worlds are very developed. They're very different from India, right? So as you might have read history, primary occupation, secondary occupation, tertiary occupation, right? So as the world becomes more and more developed, tertiary occupations like insurance, like entertainment, right? So in developed world, you will see lot of people have lot of money that they spend on luxury and entertainment. In India, we don't, right? So that's why a lot of these luxury products, they don't sell very much in India. Now it's starting to pick up because India is also becoming somewhat prosperous, which is good, which is how it's going to be. But what is the big thing that in India, right? Like simple things, like we look around in India, we say that we are dirty. Can you do something, Ramesh, by using your coding to make India clean? You can. There was a app which where whenever you see a pothole in a road, you just report it there using your GPS. There was a real app like that in Hyderabad. I'm sure it was probably there in elsewhere as well. See, such a nice initiative. I'm traveling on the road. Instead of just cursing on the government, I'll just take my app. I'll just say that I'm currently at this location and I'm marking that there is a puddle on the road there. And if government uses that app, so all of us are helping the government to make our roads better, right? Similarly, lots of problems in India. India has so many problems that you can have a lot of impact. Ramesh, I'm telling you, if you just pick up one of these problems, how do I make India clean? How do I make India's healthcare sector better, right? India's healthcare sector is suffering so much. Poor people can't afford health, right? And they don't deserve that. It's just because they don't have the money, they don't deserve dirty government hospitals, right? Can you make a reporting system where anytime, because today anybody in India has a mobile phone, if they ever get something bad service in government facility, they can immediately report in that app. I promise you, you will be very famous in next 5 years if you just implement that. And like that, in every minute I can say I can call out an idea which is very pertinent to us, our Indian society, and which will make you very, very influential, very big in our community. So no dearth of ideas, uh, Ramesh. I hope I answered your question in some way. I'm not sure how good an answer was that, uh, but feel free to disagree uh, or follow up on your question. Okay. So we are guys will end in the next couple of minutes, but I'm here. Uh, right? And I'll keep answering questions, not a problem. I'll keep answering questions. Okay. So 086 GHD is asking, I'm an engineering graduate. I realized it's very hard for me to survive in engineering department, irrespective of departments. I lack in logical skills. So I am planning to shift career in management. No, it doesn't sound good to me. 086, it doesn't sound. You should not define yourself in terms of engineering, because what is engineering? It is defined by somebody, right? Maybe 100 years ago, that we will call these people who are creating bridges and homes as engineers. Don't define yourself based on their definition. Similarly, who defined what management is? Like, okay, we'll hire a couple of guys who will look at the jobs of a few others, right? Don't decide your career based on that role. If you can go into, feel free to go into management, not a problem. I'm not saying no, but define why you're going there. What is your reason for going there? What are you going to do after that? Don't define a career path for you that go into management, I'll get some high-end job, I'll go into and do that. I mean, if you don't have a good why until that point of time, sure, by all means, go ahead, get some experience before you figure out your why. Not a problem at all. Okay. But at the same time, keep constantly thinking about your why. Because once you figure out your why, right, it's going to be interesting for you. You are going to be unstoppable. No management graduate is going to be comparable to you. It's going to be compared, right? So if that why requires you to go into management, by all means go. And if you still can't figure out your why by then, even then you can plan to go in. Not a problem. You can go still, right? But try to figure out your why when you're there. Okay. But let me know if it was a decent answer to you. Apurva is asking, in many colleges, only IT companies come for recruitment. What should a core branch? Very, very good question, Apurva. Very good question. Very pertinent to a lot of these. I think IT, everybody should not go into IT. That's resulting in a lot of problems in India, right? We are becoming, software is not everything. It's causing a lot of problems. And why are we not going into other streams, right? There are brilliant students in India, brilliant, who could have become brilliant architects, brilliant mechanical engineers, brilliant vehicle designers, right? Mahindra had a recent drive a few years ago where they encouraged people to come into automobile industry, because people were not coming into automobile industry. They were going into IT industry. They were saying, we want to do engineering. There was a very pertinent article by Anand Mahindra, right? So he was saying we were not getting people. They were saying that automobile engineering is not engineering. Sorry, state of affairs. We need great engineers, right? People who design cars, who create great innovations, right? So we need those people. We need people to go. And why are they not going into their own? They invested 4 years in those studies. They learned a lot, and then they're going into IT companies. Waste of 4 years, I'll say. And why? Because they are not secure. They don't know their why. They don't know their what. They just know on their how. They think that okay, coding or going into IT companies decent paying, right? So I'll go and try that out. So they are insecure. We are insecure, right? Forget they. We are they only. So we are insecure. We don't have a strong why or what, and we are financially illiterate. We think that hey, what if I don't get a job? What will happen to me, right? Who will marry me, or maybe my girlfriend or boyfriend will ditch me, or I don't know. There can be, or what will my neighbors or uncles and aunts think of me? So we are very insecure. Let's first of all accept that as a community, student community, we are not brave, courageous, daring, right? We are none of that. Go meet Israelis. They'll tell you what bravery is, right? But unfortunately, we are not that brave. So it's a big problem. We we need to be brave enough to pursue it, to not be financially insecure. And fortunately, we are very fortunately that unlike in the US or Europe, our parents save a lot. They can actually easily sustain us for 1 to 2 years without any problem. We don't need a social security system that they have in the US. Unfortunately, we can't afford that. We have so many poor people, looks like, right? So it's okay. There is no point blaming. It's just that we need to be more confident. We need to be more secure, right? Once you're confident, you've spent 4 years learning something, go do whatever you can lay your hands on, practice. And then I promise you, give yourself 1 to 2 years, you will do something very big as opposed to going and learning an IT job where you don't know your why and what. Okay, Ramesh is saying thank you. Thank you, Ramesh. Glad I was able to help you. Sean Connell is saying how to build relations with people who can help you grow our idea. Very good question. You need to build relations, very important. In fact, we will also discuss this in our next, as part of learning, right? We don't build relations. We don't do discussions, because if you see the way we learn in industry, we do a lot of meetings. We do a lot of discussions. We do a lot of reviews, right? But we don't do any of that in our student life. We proactively, because once we join the industry, we automatically build a lot of relationships. But why don't we do that when we are students? Something to think about, right? Right. So how do you build is totally on you. And we will talk a little bit about how do you build. But if I keep the how on the side a little bit, but yes, you need to build a lot of relationships, right? Especially with people who you learn from, who you collaborate with, right? That's the best way to learn. In fact, one of the best ways to learn that we will discuss in the next discussion as well. Okay. Apurva, this is the last question that I'll take. I think it can also be because it's comparatively easy to get job in campus. Very good. You're right. If you do, so I'm not saying don't take a job, Apurva, right? Like I said, if that's the only option, if you're not able to figure out your why, or if you're not able to figure out your what because of financial problems, it's okay. Go ahead and join an IT company, or go ahead and join whatever company who is offering you a job. That's okay. Not a problem, right? But in the meanwhile, don't forget your why. Don't forget your what. Keep that in mind. That's the most important thing in your life. So don't forget your why, right? Take my example. I've been working for the last 12 hours. It's only in the last 2 years that I have started to teach people, right? After 10 odd years. And I think I could have done it earlier also. Maybe I was not confident or passionate about it. I thought maybe I need to focus more on my job, which was okay. I made money, which is okay. But the more important thing is not to make money, not to get a position, but it's always to get to your why. Because once you work towards your why, right, you cannot get stress. Failures also cannot give you stress, right? So I think, yeah. So 086, thank you. You're most welcome. I love to share my knowledge with all you guys. So thank you all of you for attending today's session. It was interesting. But guys, one feedback from you to all of you. There were some people who were interacting with me, who were asking questions, but I'm not seeing questions or feedback from all of you. I want from next session onwards, right? Let's do this. I want this to be more interactive in the sense that, in fact, that is another point. That is how you learn more. It's called active learning. We will discuss that, right? So imagine if you are sitting on the last bench of your class and you're just listening to what the teacher is saying, as opposed to you're sitting in the first bench and you're just asking silly questions, like really silly questions, right? Sir, what did you say? I didn't understand. Can you repeat? Even this silly question, right, will make you learn much, much more, many times more, in fact. Right? So I will promote, so let's discuss what are the good ways to learn, right? Some techniques which we don't proactively apply in our student life. I also didn't do when I was a student. But I am looking for more active participation. Agree with me, disagree with me, ask questions, give your thoughts. It's not like I'm here to teach you something. I'm sure I'm also looking forward to learn something from you guys as well. Okay, and if you have more ideas, more questions, more opinions, definitely feel free to share with me. Okay, awesome. So Apurva is suggesting a session on confidence building. Definitely, definitely. Why not? Just remind me. I might forget. I have my list of sessions, but if you remind me, right, keep reminding me. I promise to have a session, right? This is a continuous ongoing series which we will have. Awesome, guys. I think that's it. We are already 20 minutes late. It's past 20 minutes past midnight. Probably some of you are already feeling sleepy. So thank you for joining. Good night from me. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. It was really an awesome session. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining. Good night. Have a sweet dream and be productive. Yeah, I have put some link. Just go through it. Um, just put your thoughts and approach regarding our further sessions in the feedback. Just go through it. Thank you, guys. Good night. Stay safe and be productive. Thank you. I'm closing the session in a minute. I've also put the feedback link in the WhatsApp group. You can take from there as well. So this is a continuation session. We will bring it every night. So you can also encourage your friends to join this session if you like it. Or you can share the link as well with friends so that they will also able to make part of it. Thank you guys. Good night. Have a sweet dream. And stay safe and be productive. Thank you guys. Good night.